Thank you for joining me for Bumblebee Facts. This time we're continuing with the talk of threats to bumblebees, but we'll focus on habitat loss. So first of all, what habitat do bumblebees require? Well, there's obviously nesting habitat. This will depend on the species. Some choose to nest, many choose to nest underground, some in rotten logs, some in tufts of grass, especially those that are surface nesters, and there'll be other locations as well. The second is equally important, and that is the foraging habitat, and that's where they find floral resources, whether it's trees, shrubs, or flowering plants that provide nectar and pollen for bumblebees. And then lastly is the overwintering habitat, and this is for the gynns, the future queens that come out in the late summer, fall. They'll mate and feed and then look for an overwintering site 2 to 3 inches in the soil or duff to survive the winter. But the major components of habitat loss have to do with our development of forest and grasslands and other habitats, scrubland, and that loss of that habitat because we'll pave over things and basically the bumblebees are going to have a harder time finding habitat for those three habitat requirements. So development is one. Another is intensive agriculture. And due to the great work that was done in Illinois, we know that in some northern counties in Illinois, because of intensive agriculture and development, you had at least 4 bumblebee species which have been extirpated or removed, but because they were looking at remediation work, which involves putting in hedgerows, they were able to bring back in some locations those bumblebees. So both with development and intensive agriculture, there are things that we can do to provide that habitat. Like in the case of development, let's leave some undisturbed areas, some wild areas. In agriculture, doing hedgerows. So there's things we can do. Habitat loss is something that we as individuals and we as a society can do to help improve habitat for bumblebees. So thank you for listening. Thank you for your interest.